All right. We are recording. Thank you everyone for being here. We're going to give folks another minute or so to log in. I know one of our panelists and myself were mentioning having some internet snafus this morning. So we'll give folks a moment. Thank you all for being here. And then we'll get started. I'm trying to figure out the view because right now nothing against you, Shane, but right now just your face very big.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see how I can. There we go. This is the star of our show, Shane. Okay, there's some folks coming in. All right. Okay, well, to be mindful of folks' time as other people trickle in as they frantically notice it's noon, we will get started. So, welcome everybody to our July installment of the Supports for the Lifespan series. STTL, as we call it, is a monthly webinar series sponsored by the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities to share local resources, inclusion and accessibility, hot topics, and other resources that the folks at Delaware County Board of DD can enjoy. But it's really for everybody too. So inclusion and accessibility is for everybody. So this month, we are very lucky to have representatives from three of our local kind of parks, resources, recreation facilities around Central Ohio to talk with us about inclusion and accessibility in recreation and outdoor summer fun. So I am going to introduce our three panelists. We have Megan Richley from Metro Parks. We have Casey Smith from Preservation Parks up here in Delaware County. And then we have Shane Thompson from the Westerville Recreation Center. Westerville Parks and Rec. Yes. Okay. There's lots of different iterations of Parks and Recreation titles. So each of these presenters is going to give an overview of what they do and what types of activities they have that might be, of interest to folks here at Delaware County Board of DD. And then we'll have some time at the end for questions. I don't think I introduced myself, but I'm Mallory Workman, and I am the Community Relations Specialist here at Delaware County Board. Along with, these webinar series, I have a lot of other special projects and things. I like to say that my job is other duties as assigned as a full-time position. So without further ado, I would like to invite Megan Richley from Metro Parks to share her screen and chat with us about what they got going on over at the Metro Parks.
Yeah. Okay. Can everyone see everything okay? Thumbs up. Awesome. So yes, I work with the Columbus and Franklin County Metro Parks. Just a little introduction. My name is Megan Richley. I'm the Inclusion Program Coordinator here for the Metro Parks. My responsibilities include just being the overall point person for accessibility and inclusion throughout the park district. Manage the inclusive playground that we have at Blendon Woods, which I'm going to go a little bit into in just a moment, and some of our adaptive equipment. And also provide both on and off-site programming for people with disabilities across the park district and in Franklin County. So we have an inclusive playground at Blendon Woods Metro Parks. This opened in April of 2025. What's really unique about this playground is that it's available for reservations. And so we have that for groups that have or work with individuals with disabilities. So I see a lot of school field trips, adult daycare groups, even play groups, So a vast variety of different groups coming out and using that space. And so those hours are Tuesday through Friday from 8 to 4 p.m. And we usually do 2 groups a day. So you have 8 to 12 or 12 to 4, and then Saturdays 8 to 12. Outside of those hours, the park is open to the general public, just open play, and the gate will be open. And then another great thing about this space is that there is a universal changing table on site and an electric Hoyer hoist. So really great for those that need those resources. And the electric changing table is electric and can move up and down. So it's a really great high quality changing table there. At this inclusive playground, I also hold programs. Some of the monthly programs that I do at the playground is a sensory story time. I'll read a book. I'll usually have some kind of sensory element that goes with that story that I'm reading. Like we read a book about apples last fall, and I had apples that people could try or taste or touch. And then afterwards, we did a craft with apples. So kind of just bringing all of that together and having some sensory elements included in that. Another thing that we also do at this space monthly is an adult open play. So trying to do Fridays once a month. It's open to adults with disabilities to come play. So we are also having a day camp here in the next couple of weeks. This is going to be brand new. I'm really excited about it. We're offering 2 days of a sensory day camp where campers will be dropped off and have low group sizes, activities. And then 2 days we're having a companion care day where they're going to come with their caregiver. So lots of things going on at the inclusive playground, and it's a really cool space. One great thing that we've seen with this playground is the gate. A lot of people have given us a lot of positive feedback about that gate, which has prompted us to gate other playgrounds in our park district. So I'm going to share about those here in a few minutes. So bringing back to programming, the programming that I do in the park is called Metro Parks Adaptive Adventures. It's kind of got its title so you can easily search it on our website. If you type in adaptive adventures, all my stuff is going to come up with that. So this is programming for individuals with disabilities and their families. As I'm planning my programs, I'm really trying to implement that universal design principles, making it everything as accessible as possible for families and for all types of abilities. All of our public programs are free. I also do requested on or offsite programs. So if you have a group and you want to come do something at the playground with me, or have me come out to your facility and bring a reptile, those are things that I do as well. I do programming for all ages, and you can find my programs every month on my Facebook. And then also I have an email list. I send out a monthly newsletter. You can sign up for that, and we'll do that the first of the month, and I'll give you all my programs and some flyers and other resources and news about different new and upcoming things about accessibility and inclusion at the Metro Parks. Some of the fun programs and examples of things that we've done. Yesterday, we had a reptile meet and greet at our Spring Hollow Lodge, and that was really cool. It was a very informal, just had a turtle and a snake, and individuals were invited to just come and have a quiet, sensory friendly experience with these animals. We had some coloring, and they were free to come up to the table and go as they pleased. So just really being inclusive of all. On Saturday, we're going to have a musician at the playground from 11 to 12. She has an acoustic guitar. She's going to do some sing-along songs. So I invite everyone to come out to that. I'm really excited. She was there back in May, and she did really great. And something else coming up in August is a drum circle that we're going to have at High Banks on August 21st. I'll have some noise canceling headphones available. But it's just come join and feel the rhythm. And I'm really excited. It's going to be really fun. So yeah, just a variety of different programs. We also do some recreation adaptive programming. I partner with Adaptive Sports Connection. We had a very well attended kayaking program last month. So doing some more of that adaptive recreation end of things as well. Some accessible areas that we have in the metro parks. The canopy walk at Blacklick Woods is a walkway 40 feet up in the air, and there is an elevator that is available to park visitors to take you up. And then it's all wheelchair accessible around. It's really cool. We have fall coming up. It's a really beautiful space to come check out the trees. We also have ADA kayak launches in a couple of our parks. Fishing, you can see in this picture of the right, we have several fishing docks where you can go right up to the water off of a paved trail. Our paved trails throughout our parks, we have access to 130 miles of paved or ADA rated trails, whether that be hopping on a greenway trail and going to another park. So we have a lot of hiking opportunities in the metro parks. We also have an accessible geocaching trail. If you are unfamiliar with geocaching, it's kind of a nationwide treasure hunt. It's really cool. People from all over hide little trinkets in different areas, and you download an app and you have like coordinates to go and find these little trinkets. We have 2 geocache trails that we host in the metro parks. You can find more information about that online. You can also email me and I can help you get set up. It's really cool if you're unfamiliar. It's a lot of fun. As I mentioned, we have inclusive changing tables universal changing tables at the inclusive playground at Linden Woods. And we recently just opened one at Blacklick Woods just a couple weeks ago. So those are available. They are the same exact changing table. And as I mentioned, when we opened the inclusive playground, a lot of feedback was that people really enjoyed the gate. So we took it upon ourselves to gate more of our playgrounds. So we now have a gated playground at Sharon Woods Metro Parks and Three Creek Metro Parks, and High Banks has one coming soon. They just redid the playground in the Oak Groves picnic area, and that will soon be gated as well. Some adaptive equipment that we have available, the Grit Freedom all-terrain wheelchair. If you are unfamiliar, it is a wheelchair that has mountain bike tires, and it is propelled through levers. You can see in this picture, this gentleman, he checked it out for me a couple weeks ago, and he's going through the mulch right there. This is reservable for free. It rotates every 2 months around our 4 nature centers, so it's getting ready to move to Blacklick Woods tomorrow, actually, so it'll be ready for August 1st. And you can check that out from 1 to 4 hours. And to do that, you can just email me directly. We have a Sign Up Genius that you can find on our website as well. And it's been really cool to see people be able to get into some different spaces that they weren't able to with the chair in their traditional wheelchairs. This gentleman, he had his eye on the Grit, and he came to try it out for the first time, and I had asked him to go through this mulch in this picture, and when he finished, I had asked, how would have that been in your in the chair that you currently have? And he was like, I would never be able to even attempt that. So he actually is planning to purchase one for himself. So that was really cool to have that resource available so that he could try that out and see how it went before making such a large purchase for himself. Um, Additionally, we have an adaptive archery stand, and this is available for requested programs. I will do archery program with your group. We also have it at some of our public programs. It's going to be at Scioto Grove on August 19th. I'm going to have it with our outdoor adventure team who's doing traditional archery at the same time. So the whole family can come. With this stand, it is mounted and it has a inline draw lock, so we can pull that string back and it will be fired with a trigger. So it's great for people that don't have a lot of arm strength to hold back that bow for a long period of time to aim. We get it held back there, and then you can take aim and then fire when you're ready to go. We also have sensory bags at all of our nature centers. These are also free to check out. Just go up to the naturalist at the nature center. They can hook you up with that. They come with sunglasses and some fidgets and noise canceling headphones and communication boards. This is new. We have just launched the accessibility webpage. It's been up for about 2 months. So this is a hub of basically everything that I'm going over right now. You'll be able to find all of this. You'll be able to get linked to me through there, find links to all my programs. You can find this at metroparks.net, going to the Plan Your Visit tab, and then down to accessibility. It's really great. I was really excited to have this resource for everyone. And then as we grow with the Metro Parks, I'll be adding more information on that page. So yeah, the future goals for us here, just continuing to grow our program offerings, approaching our large events, planning from a universal design perspective, really hoping to bring more accessibility into our larger park events, adding more inclusive infrastructure, and increasing accessibility to the blind and deaf community. I recently learned that Westerville is the largest population of blind and deaf individuals in the state of Ohio. So I really want to start getting more programming and accessibility to those folks. So be looking for that. I'm going to plug, we have an ASL interpreter at our bug extravaganza that's happening this Saturday at Walnut Woods Metro Parks. There will be an interpreter there from 11 to 1. Just park provided to be there as a resource for anyone that wants to come out and learn about some bugs. So I had any questions. I know Mallory mentioned we were going to do questions at the end. So if we want to hold, or if someone has a really quick question.
Yeah, so also for anyone that's tuning in, I am monitoring the chats. And I still, after doing these every month, I still don't know the difference between the chat and the Q&A. And like what this to me, those would be the same thing, but I'm monitoring both of those. So if anyone has any questions throughout the presentation, I will make sure those get answered. But thank you, Megan.
Yeah.
That was, I took multiple pictures of things of like,
Okay.
oh, we need to share that with folks. And I really appreciate all that you are doing to make sure that everybody can enjoy the wonderful activities that Metro Parks has going on. So thank you. All right. And so I will monitor again for questions for any of our panelists. But without further ado, we're going to pass off now to Casey Smith with Preservation Parks right here in Delaware County. So Casey, if you want to share your screen, we can get started with with
Yes.
what you have to share.
Working on that. All right. Can everybody see that
Yep.
screen? All right. So just a little bit about us to start with. We are Preservation Parks. We're the Metro Park System for Delaware County. So you guys all know this. We are just one county north of Columbus here in Ohio. We currently manage 12 parks including 18 miles of trails, just over 2,000 acres, a 1930s working farm. We have our main nature center at Deer Haven Park. There is a small nature center at Hogback Ridge Park. Education and interpretation are really central to what we do. Our mission, just really quickly, conserve and protect the natural and historic features of Delaware County and to inspire outdoor exploration and learning. And I'm Casey Smith. I'm the education manager. So my team is the one that's out there working at the 1930s farm, and they're doing all of the programming. If you've gone on a hike or experienced any of our programs, then that's been my team. So we're one of the fastest growing counties in Ohio. We're a relatively small park district, especially compared to Megan's park district. I think some of our total park land is like one of Megan's parks. But I want to talk to you today about the Braille Trail and how the Braille Trail is a perfect example of how we're working to expand access, and we're trying to make our outdoor learning and exploration spaces welcoming to members of all communities. So what is a Braille Trail? A Braille Trail is an accessible outdoor trail. It's designed so that people who are blind or have low vision can independently explore and understand a natural space. It uses Braille, raised tactile text, tactile graphics. One of the really important things is consistent wayfinding, and then physical cues like high contrast elements to communicate information through touch rather than sight. So it's not just a trail that has some Braille signs on it. It's actually a specifically designed, really thoughtful experience that helps to remove barriers and support independence and invites visitors of all abilities to actually connect with nature in meaningful ways. So we have installed this Braille Trail at Hogback Ridge Park. If you're not familiar with Hogback Ridge, it's off of Hogback Road up in Sunbury, and it is the facility or the park where our administrative facility is. Our administrative offices are up in that park. One of the really important things that we did before we actually even installed the Braille Trail was reaching out to community partners. This all started because the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities reached out to us and said, we are reaching out for some grant money. We're applying for grant money. So what ideas do you have? And the idea that was brought to us was a sensory trail. So about 5 years ago, we actually installed a colorblind viewer at Deer Haven Park. So if you go out there, there's one of those sets of binoculars, and it has the lower set of binoculars for accessibility. And there are enchroma lenses inside those that actually correct red-green color blindness. So 90% of the people who are colorblind are red-green colorblind. So that's reaching a pretty good majority of the people who have color blindness. So once we knew that we wanted to do something with the Board of Developmental Disabilities grant money, we started looking into opportunities. And one of those, an idea that we had that was kind of banging around in our heads already, was a Braille Trail. And when you do research on Braille Trails, you find that there really aren't many in Ohio, period, and basically none in Central Ohio. So we reached out first to Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities, and they gave me some good ideas on people to connect with. And I reached out to the American Council of the Blind of Ohio. They connected me with their Sports and Recreation Committee. All of these lovely folks that you see in this picture then came out, and they helped me walk the trail. They walked it with me and said, my dog wants to take me down a hill over here. You should include a fence over here. One of our biggest challenges in building this trail was the original trail that we picked was an existing trail that met ADA standards, 36 feet wide, hard packed gravel, little elevation change. And the problem was that it crossed through a parking lot, went through the parking circle that has lots of trees in it, and then crossed back across the parking lot to get where you started. And so we were brainstorming all of these ideas to get people across a road, basically. Do we put in speed bumps? Do we do all these things? And someone said, why don't you just cut a new part of the trail so that it completes the loop? And that's what we ended up doing. So this trail is actually one continuous loop. You start at the restroom, which was also part of the grant that we received from Board of Developmental Disabilities. It paid for part of this restroom. Previously, there was no outdoor standalone restroom in this park. There was a porta-john that was available all the time. There were indoor flush toilets inside our administrative offices, but those were only available when those offices were open. So usually about 8 to 4 during the week, never on the weekends and never in the evenings. So what's great is we were able to build this fully accessible standalone restroom with a universal changing table, which is a first in our park district, and that helped to remove some barriers for visitors and caregivers. This was built in phases because the grant didn't cover the full cost of this restroom and the trail, but we were able to fund the rest of it ourselves. So you can see on the right-hand side the sensor, so you can just wave your hand to get into that restroom. The universal changing table is inside, and it is just one giant restroom on the inside. So really great. So then we focused on installing our Braille trail. So we had to do a good bit of research in what does a Braille trail actually look like. Meeting up with the American Council of the Blind Sports and Rec Committee was really, really great. I was able to ask them questions like, what gives you independence on a trail? How do you use a trail? What would make you feel safe and comfortable in the outdoors? And so we also went to see a trail that was at a camp. It was called Highbrook Camp. It was run by the Cleveland Sight Center. It had actually been closed for a couple of years when we went to see it, but they had high contrast rope, white PVC pipe all running through their camp, and it was a camp for children who are blind or have low vision. So one of the most important things we took away from that was that high contrast guide rope, and then setting those posts at regular intervals so that you have consistent wayfinding. So they actually had PVC, white PVC, and our administration was dead set against white PVC pipes. So you can see on the right-hand side here, we have this black metal post with an eye at the top that the high contrast guide rope goes through. If there is a break in the trail, on the left-hand side, you see the trail crossing, and there in the middle, you can see the benches. There are 3 spots where that happens. And so we have cedar posts so that you understand that something different is happening in the trail. They are never more than 6 feet apart. And before you even come to visit the trail, you can actually get on our website, and our website just explains the entire trail. And so where it starts, where it ends, what the posts are, the cedar, and what happens when you encounter a cedar post. So the high contrast guide rope is basically continuous. It's a 0.4 mile trail, and the rope is at 3 feet or about hip height. Let's see if I covered everything in there. Yes. The signs are visual and tactile and have Braille plates on them. So there are 3 signs that really invoke using your other senses. So this sign in this, on the left side of this slide here, is actually at a shagbark hickory tree. And I collected nut and bark from that tree that was on the ground and sent it off to the sign company, and the sign company cast those in bronze. So you'll see on the next slide, but there are tactile elements that are cast in bronze and are part of that sign. So the visual part, the braille plates say exactly the same thing. It encourages you to reach out and touch the tree that the sign is next to and just really feel what a shagbark hickory tree feels like and why is it called a shagbark hickory tree. One of the other signs talks about woodpeckers and actually encourages you to stop and take a deep breath and listen to the sounds of the forest around you, whether that is a squirrel scurrying around in dead leaves or woodpeckers. That park is heavily visited by woodpeckers. And so the tactile element of that sign is a woodpecker skull and feet. And then the third sign, there are 3 signs on this trail. The third sign is all about spring ephemerals, little spring wildflowers like trillium, spring beauties, Dutchman's breeches, because that park is just littered with them during the spring. So I really wanted to highlight those. And the tactile part of that sign is a trillium, which is our state wildflower. The other sign that you see on this page or this slide is a 3D tactile map of the park that also includes Braille so that you understand where all of the trails are. The Braille trail is clearly marked up there at the top. It's the dotted one there, and then the other trails have different tactile feeling. So it might be a solid line or a dotted line or longer dashes to delineate the different trails there. Here is that shagbark hickory, like I was talking about. I collected those, and I think this is one of my favorite parts of these tactile elements because by the time the nut actually made it to the foundry to be cast in bronze, it had cracked open a little bit. So you can get to feel that crack on that shagbark hickory nut there. And then there is the complete sign next to the tree, and that rope goes right behind those signs so that you're not missing a thing. So we have talked about adding Braille to the Nature Center. I've actually found there are label makers that make Braille. So we're going to be adding some Braille to the small little Nature Center that's there at Hogback Ridge Park. We have already provided staff training. This is an old slide, so I apologize. The staff training, we actually had Dan Kelly from State Services of the Blind come to an all-staff training, and he talked to us about how to be a human guide. So now that we have this trail in our park district, we want to make sure we're correctly interacting with visitors who are blind or have low vision. And so that was a really beneficial training. He brought his wife, who is his human guide, and they just showed us how to navigate, how to tell people directions, things that you don't think about if you're not part of the blind community or, know someone who is blind, and just how to say directions to people. We have been leading guided hikes. So we had the American Council of the Blind come out in the beginning of July, and they held their summer celebration cookout and had 90 people come up to Hogback Ridge Park. And if you've been there, it's a pretty small space. So we really packed everybody in there and did 3 guided hikes so that tons of people from the blind community from all over the state, they had a bus come in from Columbus, they had a couple of vans come in from Cleveland and from Cincinnati. And so we were able to share that trail with loads of people. We are looking into creating a Braille map of that park that you can actually take with you. So whether that's paper or I've seen them made out of some kind of a plastic too. And incorporating technology, looking into different softwares that actually allow you to narrate the trail, adding QR codes onto things so that people can scan QR codes and then the trail is narrated. And then completely separate from Hogback Ridge completely, we are adding an accessible playground to Hickory Woods Park. And so that's one of our really exciting projects coming up. There will be a brand new shelter house and a fully accessible playground at that park. And that'll be a first for us, having an accessible playground. So We've got our colorblind viewer, our Braille trail, and then our accessible playground coming up. Most of our trails meet ADA standards for accessible trails. And, you know, anytime you do something for a specific community, whether that's the blind community, the deaf community, you're actually improving access for everyone. Before we installed this Braille trail, there were no interpretive signs, no visual interpretive signs on this specific trail at Hogback Ridge. So inviting everyone to stop and take a beat and listen to the sounds of the forest, you know, can't be a bad thing. So we are just working on adding those little touches and accessibility into our parks as we go. All right. That is all I have. Let me stop sharing and see if there are any quick questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Casey. And I actually, I was lucky to have like a personal tour through the Braille Trail with Casey, and it was so awesome. And I just love how much work and time you all put into like the details and things. And it is a very, very cool resource. And I also loved you saying that, you know, these things are for everybody. And I think like that is, if we give one mission here at DCBDD, like in our outreach department, it's that inclusion is for everybody, accessibility is for everybody. You know, it really helps to not only make things, you know, attainable and available for the folks that we serve, but also a lot of times it makes things easier for the general public, or more enjoyable for the general public. So we appreciate all that you do at Preservation Parks. And if you have not gone to go see the Braille Trail, I highly recommend, because it is a very cool kind of multimodal learning experience for everybody. So I am going now to, again, feel free to ask questions throughout, but I'm going to pass it off now to Shane Thompson from Westerville Parks and Recreation to talk about some of their programming over in Westerville.
Thank you so much. Can everyone see the screen right now? Is that
Yes.
sweet? Awesome. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shane Thompson. I'm the Adaptive and Inclusive Program Supervisor for Westerville Parks and Recreation. So a big part of my job is creating events and programs for individuals with developmental, physical, or non-apparent disabilities. I'm also the point of contact when day support groups or schools or various organizations visit our facilities. To tell you a little bit about myself, I started with Westerville Parks and Recreation in a part-time capacity in 2007. I worked a lot of the youth programs and summer camps. In 2013, I transitioned to All Our Friends, which is a day support group for adults with developmental disabilities. And then from 2015 until 2023, I was a full-time paraprofessional working with students on IEPs for Westerville City Schools and Dublin City Schools. And I took this job full-time with Westerville Parks and Rec in 2023. So some of the programs that we offer on a consistent monthly basis are bagels and board games, which is essentially like my office hours. I set out a lot of games. It's free. You just need to register. It's just a good chance for the community to come, you know, socialize, play some games, have a light snack, and chat with me and learn about some of our upcoming adaptive programming, as well as give me ideas about future programming that they would like to see. We also have sensory-friendly time in our esports room once a month. That just allows the community to enjoy the esports room, play some video games. It's a good chance for people who want to experience that in a smaller crowd that's less overstimulating. We have monthly wheelchair basketball open gyms. We have monthly adaptive basketball clinics. We have 2 adaptive yoga sessions every month. And we also have adaptive cooking classes with Cooking Caravan, and they are wonderful. Some more seasonal events that take place kind of just sporadically throughout the year. We do holiday cookie decorating, bowling trips, egg dyeing, inclusive improv classes, picnic and nature walk. We do a big adaptive egg hunt that we partner with the Westerville Area Civitan Club. A sensory-friendly magic show, adaptive pickleball clinics, an adaptive kayaking trip that we work with the Adaptive Sports Connection with, an inclusive splash party, an inclusive opportunity fair, and empowered fitness training. We also have multiple dances throughout the year. They coincide with different holidays and themes of the year. For example, our big summer dance is usually beach party themed. We have a Halloween dance where everyone dresses up. And it's such a wonderful time. We partner with different organizations for these dances. They typically bring out around 125 to 175 people per dance. They're always free. Refreshments are included. You just need to register. And they're just so much fun. Here's just a couple extra pictures from them because they're some of my favorite events that we host throughout the year. We also have sensory-friendly times and options for some of our city's bigger events. For example, we have a Touch a Truck coming up on August 14th, and that takes place at the Sports Complex, which is across the street from the Westerville Community Center. And from the hour from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m., that'll be the sensory-friendly hour where people can come and they can still see all the trucks, but there won't be any of the sirens going on. The flashing lights will not be happening. There'll be various fidgets and sensory items, noise-canceling headphones available, things like that. Another example is the Great Westerville Pumpkin Glow, which is a wonderful event. On an average night, it can bring out between 1,000 and 4,000 people. And, you know, that's pretty big crowds. So I think it's important that we offer a sensory-friendly date, which we do. And we typically have around 150 to 200 people come out to that. So people can still experience the events in a much smaller setting. We have like quiet rooms available. We have noise canceling headphones, and I try to send out a social story as well to all the registered participants so they know what to expect when they show up. We have a sensory friendly date for our Snowflake Castle as well, and that event is always a ton of fun. We work with organizations throughout the year to host sensory-friendly swims in our indoor pools at the community center. It's a great time to experience our facility in a less overstimulating environment. If you come to our family swims, depending on the time of the year, it can get a little crowded in our pools. So we definitely want to make sure that individuals who could get overstimulated easily have that opportunity to experience our pools in a little bit of a quieter setting. Promotion and communication are huge. We have every 2 months, the city puts out a new community guide that has all of our programs listed, including our adaptive programs. And all programs through Westerville Parks and Recreation are inclusive. So in addition to having my own page in the community guide, all of our adaptive programs are also listed on our registration page at parks.westerville.org/registration. But in addition to that, because I want the information to be as accessible as possible, I also have my own adaptive handout that I send out to my email list that's comprised of various families, day support groups, schools, and organizations. I will have my email listed at the end of this presentation. If you'd like to be a part of the email list, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can also find physical copies of it throughout our community center and at the Westerville Public Library. And partnerships, I believe, are so important because we're all on the same team and we are all working together to benefit the community. So these are some of the organizations that I partner with throughout the year. The Adaptive Sports Connection does a wonderful adaptive cycling program. We work with All Our Friends for some of our dances throughout the year. Boundless and ASCO and DeSaco, they host some of our sensory swims that we partner with. Just a lot of organizations in the community that partner with us so we can expand our reach to benefit as many people as possible. And all programs through Westerville Parks and Rec are inclusive and anyone is welcome to try. And if you need any adaptations, feel free to reach out to me. Because all of our classes focus on creating a welcoming environment where everyone feels valued and can participate fully, while our adaptive programs focus more on modifying the experience to meet the specific need of the individual. So being inclusive is the goal, and sometimes adaptive is a necessary step to reach inclusion. I think one example I like to use is our adaptive cooking classes that are slightly smaller numbers. It moves at a slightly slower pace, usually take place on Saturdays at noon. And then we have the general youth class at 3:30. Well, I had a kiddo who would come to my adaptive classes for a long time, and I stopped seeing him. And I was like, "Hey, buddy, where have you been?" And he said, because coming to the adaptive classes, he started feeling more comfortable. So he started attending the 3:30 youth classes instead. And I love to see it because that's the goal. Spreading awareness is always important. I host trainings throughout the year with our staff. I'm either leading them or I partner with other organizations or bring speakers in. Some of the topics we include are just like tips on dealing with patrons if they're exhibiting a behavior, inclusive terminology, what to say, what not to say, disability etiquette. We work with the Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities to come speak sometimes. They're a wonderful organization. I also have brought in behavior analysts from the past just to talk to our staff to set them up for success because we want everybody in our facility to feel welcome. Speaking of that, as you know, some people need direct support and that's okay. So we want to make sure that everyone feels welcome while coming to our classes and facility. So if somebody needs direct support, their support staff member can get in for free at no extra charge. They would just need to fill out a facility waiver just in case we needed to contact them for any reason. And I know that some individuals need more than one support staff member, and that's completely fine. Say, for example, somebody has a history of elopement and runs quite a bit. They might need 2 guardians or 2 family members or support staff members with them. If that's the case, I just ask that the families reach out to me and we set up a quick meeting, and I do whatever I can to set them up for success and allow them to have those 2 support members with them while utilizing our facility and programs. Adaptive equipment, we have sensory bins and noise canceling headphones throughout our facility. We have height adjustable adult changing tables. 2 of them are at the Westerville Community Center. We have one on the south end of our building, and we have the other one in the warm water pool area. And we also have one at our Highlands Park Aquatic Center. We have a pool access chair, a communication device, a basketball wheelchair, and an adaptive bike as well that people can use. We also have a quiet room in case somebody in our facility is feeling a little overstimulated and they just need a place to decompress a little bit. So we make that available. They can either just walk in and use it, or they can find a staff member and we can help them find it. We also work with volunteers on a regular basis. The Alpha Group, Westerville City Schools, Functional Training Services are just a few of the organizations that come and volunteer with our wonderful maintenance staff to kind of go around in our building and learn some job skills and get that experience, that real life work experience. So that's one of the things that we do that really brings me joy, because I love seeing them throughout the week, just walking around our facility, getting that real life experience. I also try to attend as many career and resource fairs as I can. Here are some of them that I've attended recently. I think it's so important to not only meet the families, give them a chance to sign up for my email list, cast a wide net to get that information out there, but it's also a wonderful chance to meet more organizations that could potentially lead to future partnerships or potential new classes that I could offer. This is my contact information. If you have any questions about any general questions or about our programming, you are welcome to give me a call or send me an email anytime. We also accept quite a bit of third-party funding and waiver funding. So if you have questions about that, Austin Porter is the gentleman who handles that. So I included his phone number and his contact information as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone taking the time to listen to me chat about some of our programs. We're all in this together, so it really warms my heart to hear all the amazing options that are becoming available more and more frequently in Ohio.
Awesome. Thank you, all 3 of our presenters. I sincerely appreciate you taking your time on what I assume is maybe a lunch break or pre or post lunch break. If you get a lunch break, I know all 3 of you are very busy this summer. Does anyone have any questions for? We have a thank you from Heather. Thank you for sharing these wonderful opportunities. And as I mentioned, actually, I think I mentioned this before we started recording and started, but this will be captioned and put on our YouTube channel and shared on our social media here within the next couple weeks. So if you have anyone that you think would be interested in this information, please feel free to share. I know, like I said, I've been taking some pictures and oh, like I got to reach out to them about that, things like that. So thank you all again. And I hope everyone continues to have a wonderful summer and we will speak soon. So thank you all. Thanks for our participants. Thanks for our panelists and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks for having
Everyone,
us.
thank you. Thank you for having us.